Tingle.
Hello, I'm Fiona Bruce, and welcome
to the Chuck Tingle Book Club.
Oh, yeah. Hello and how do, true buckaroos? And welcome back to the Chuck Tingle Book Club, brought to you by the fine reprobates at the Pot Topic podcast. On this show, we explore the immortal science of love through the prism of Chuck Tingle, the Tingleverse. We do it one tingler at a time. As ever, a little later on, I'll be doing a deepish dive on today's topic. But here, to tell us all about it, we have Tom.
Back once again with the tingle behaviour.
Oh, very nice.
I'm just going to turn down my mic, I'm peeking out. And yes, I've got a little Tomnopsis synopsis for you. And this week, we were reading Not Pounded in My Butt by my book, Not Pounded in My Butt by Everything, and That's Okay. And that's okay.
Close enough.
Yeah, something like that. It's right fucking there. Read it yourselves. It's been a bit of a break for us. We've not done one of these recordings for a very long time.
No, lots of stuff going on in life. And so it's nice to get back to it.
And a big announcement from the Tingleverse as well.
Mm-hmm.
He has black metal band name T-shirts.
Yes. Yeah, that does look awesome.
And he used fucking New Cyanide Acid Christ by Meshuggah to advertise it, which is my favourite Meshuggah song, which means we have similar taste in metal. Sorry, this is not Bailey's, by the way. This is a pint of coffee because it's 10 a.m.
Yeah, so this is going to be interesting. New energy for the show, doing it this early. I'm not really used to talking this early. I thought I had some other way to qualify that, but no, it's early. Tassie don't talk.
It's very early. All right, let's get on with the synopsis then. So this is the synopsis for Not Pounded in the Butt by my book, Not Pounded in the Butt by Anything, and That's Okay, and That's Okay. Luck Dingle is the fictional stand-in for Tingle himself, an author of short erotic stories of some renown. He's worn out thanks to the business side of his career after his success in his latest publication, Not Pounded in the Butt by Anything, and That's Okay, a book we've already read.
Mm-hmm.
He's taken his son's recommendations and he's leaving for a Hawaiian vacation, like I have.
Very good.
I don't know if the rainbow's coming out on the camera, but refraction.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
Nice.
Glad. On the plane, he can't believe it. He sat next to the sentient manifestation of this very book itself. After a reuniting hug and exchange of pleasantries, they settle down for a flight. Luck realises that something's up with the book. See, the book has just been brought into existence and forced into the limelight as a bestseller and had no time to carve out its own identity. The book even hasn't had enough time to understand what it means to be asexual, which he assumes he is, being in a book about asexuality. But he just knows he is. Luck tells him how proud he is of his creation. The book that Luck pops into his head... The book thanks him and then pops earphones in and then ignores him pretty much for the rest of the flight. Luck arrives in paradise, checks in, and immediately heads out to the beach. Amongst the joys of this idyllic setting of friends playing in the sea, surfers riding breaking waves, Luck spots a lone figure that appears to not be happy and lonely, and of course, it's his story. Luck suggests they go for a surfing lesson together, and at some point the story just again shrugs this off, as that could automatically turn romantic quickly, and he is asexual. So therefore, apparently, cannot experience romance.
Mm-hmm. Learning takes time, man.
He's been alive 4 days. I mean, I didn't have a grasp on asexuality until I was at least adult.
And you know, not everyone can style out juvenile celebrity as well as Drew Barrymore did.
Oh, fuck's sake. Did you have to bring up that?
She seems to have come out reasonably well adjusted.
Yeah, fair enough. Where were we? Luck obviously knows that to himself that this is not exactly how it works, but fair play. Luck carries on strolling down the beach, thinking and sharing his own little secret. Wonder what that could be. But I'm sure his creation will be okay. He's got this. He needs to learn it himself. The story, deep in thought, accidentally meets Luck's gaze. Oh, no, sorry, I've missed a paragraph. Beg your pardon. Luck goes through for dinner at the restaurant at the edge of the cove. Again, the book is there, just 2 tables away. Luck wants to invite him to join the short but the short story is quite clear about wanting to be left alone. The story, deep in thought, accidentally meets Luck's gaze, smiles at him, comes over. The story asks to join Luck and sits with him. The story apologises for the way he's been acting, but he's somewhat overwhelmed with his struggle of self-identity, but now realises that all you need to know is it's going to be okay. And, sorry. And what I think Taran might focus on here, I can't remember writing this note. What do I think? There are no rules about who you are. We can be romantic without wanting to have sex. We can love without wanting to have sex. And anyone who says otherwise is a fucking dickhead.
Yeah, that's certainly.
I'm not sure I believe that anymore.
Part of what we'll be talking about today.
Cool.
Let's say it's the foundation.
Okay. Anyway, they both order mahi mahi, and then Luck reveals that he's asexual too. The story does a powerful spit take in surprise. Luck qualifies this by saying that he's asexual on this timeline. Strapping for some meta, I think, is the tagline there.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, you can feel it coming. I mean, it's a book about fucking a bookie that he wrote, and he's a standing character for himself.
It's a book about not fucking a book that he wrote.
And not fucking a book that about not fucking a book. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Anyway.
What I do love is after the where he says something along the lines of I am on this timeline, and the book's just like, well, what does that mean? And oh don't worry, just author stuff.
Precisely. The story doesn't quite get what he means. Luck tells him not to worry, it's just author stuff. There we go. For the next sentence. They have a wonderful meal, and romance is blossoming between the two. The story invites Luck back to his place to watch a movie, which is what they do, feeling nothing but comfort being with each other. So fall asleep without a single hint of sexual tension. The next day, Luck is pleased when the story invites him to explore the island. Ready to seize the day, Luck gets changed and heads to Luck's rental car. The story asks Luck what he's working on now. Luck denies working on anything after all he's on vacation. The story points out that Luck has been carrying around a notepad in his back pocket that he keeps jotting notes into. Luck admits he's writing, not pounded in the butt by my book, not pounded in the butt by anything, and that's okay, and that's okay. He's writing the story now. He's writing reality now.
It's good shit.
Or rather, he isn't. See, Chuck Tingle is actually writing them this evening. The words that are around them, through them, and everything else around them are his. The story sees the words that are slightly worried that they are just characters. Luck points out that they aren't just characters. They are there to give the reader what they want and to have an enjoyable time. The story points out that don't Tingle readers usually have butt stuff? Luck corrects him that the reader of this book is to see two people who care for each other and are passionate together, even without sex being part of the mix. Just when you think the metaing can't meta anymore, the couple arrive at the volcanic crater, depart the car, start hiking straight into the heart of the pleasure zone. I did not see this coming. The natural beauty plus a cool breeze shoots tingles up Luck's spines. You like that? I fucking love that. Pumping legs as they climb an enormous canyon. Heavy breathing, sweat pouring, pushing themselves harder and harder, grunting, pushing through the soreness and aching discomfort together. Pain gives way to pleasure. Theme. I can't believe there was a theme in this book. The fact that I can't, I can even say that is fucking mind-blowing. The adrenaline kicks in. Oh yeah, that's amazing, I gush. Faster, the sentient book questions me from behind. I don't know if I can take it. Yeah, I continue, let's fucking do it. Echoing thuds as they jog. We're almost there, we're almost there. They erupt into the sunlight, jumping for joy. They share a romantic exchange with each other. The book turns to the ocean, starts to look confused. Luck turns to see what he's looking at. It's a blank page. The end of their story. The vast emptiness rushes towards them. Not black or white, but a strange unknown colour that cannot be defined from within the story. The story tells Luck that he will be missed. But Luck tells him not to worry. He'll see him again soon. Whenever the story is read, their brief time together will be replayed. The empty page washes over all around them, leaving nothing more than desire to be read again, to be in love again.
Beautiful. And I've probably read this one more than just about any other Tingler, considering it's been months since we've done this. I've had to go over it again and again and again. So there's been lots and plenty of love.
Yeah, there we go.
In that time.
It worked out.
So, Tom, before we get to the essay, mayhaps you would consent to go on a little ride with me.
This is about asexuality. I'm not sure you should proposition me.
No, this is something else, although it's related. But anyway, do you know what? Let's do it. You are on your way to see a good bud you haven't seen in some time, and you have been driving for quite a while now. You finally leave the havoc of the busy motorway and pull onto a long, meandering and scenic country road. Now you have a moment to breathe. You realise it's actually a dang beautiful day. The sun sits high, a point of life-giving brilliance in its empyrean vault of azure glory. Its warming rays pour down over a vista of rolling pastures, lavender fields, and one alpaca paddock. Your way forward is more or less clear, but you realise you've been listening to the same album for hours now. Do you, A, put on some digital hardcore to counterpoint the pastoral splendour around you? B, put on a podcast. It could be anything, but let's face it, it will probably involve Robert Evans.
Yep.
Or C, turn off the stereo, roll the windows down, and let nature be the playlist.
You know what? Behind the scenes, guys, when we recorded the podcast that's going to come out in the future, I accidentally worked out that Taz was going to be doing a choose your own adventure. I forgot. So that actually did genuinely blow me away. I think stick on some ATR as juxtaposition.
Cool. So A, put on some digital hardcore to counterpoint the pastoral splendour around you. The world outside your car is going about its usual business. Flowers bloom, butterflies flutter, bees pollinate, and beneath the road, a group of velvety moles are locked in serene mortal combat with the colossal planet-eating voidworm. Nothing could be more bucolic. But inside the car is a different matter. In here, angry Germans scream. The almond drum loop is twisted into nigh unrecognizable wreckages, and a wailing oscillator pleads fitfully for its own life and for the lives of its family. All is right with the world.
Yeah.
But just then, you notice a couple of potential distractions. Do you, A, look to the right, where a tastefully toned and very handsome alpaca in bulging grey sweatpants winks suggestively at you from his paddock? Do you, B, look to the left, where a stunning 3D printer struts by in lowrider jeans and a bikini top, smiling excited at you and your very cool and exciting music? Or do you, C, be a good driver and focus on the road ahead?
A fucking B, mate. Clearly, the 3D printer's going to win.
Surprise, fucko! In a turn of events that you have absolutely no control over, the remains of a small iron meteorite shoots down from the sky, striking and bursting the front tire of an oncoming car on the other side of the road. Panicking, the driver hits the brakes, sending their car into a high-speed roll. As the oncoming car rolls across the center of the road towards you, you have mere fractions of a second to respond. Do you, A, pull your shades down over your eyes, strike an anime pose, and then wrench the car into some impossibly impressive evasive maneuver while the sun glints awesomely off your hubcaps, which are now chrome all of a sudden. Do you B, catch the eyes of the other driver as they barrel towards you and say the words, "Clever girl," as you stoutly accept the grim fate that awaits you? Or do you C, turn into the crash and shout, "Leroy Jenkins"?
I was so sure I was going to pick A, and then you Leroy Jenkins me. Oh, I need to know what Leroy Jenkins is going to end up doing.
Okay.
I'm dead. I'm so dead.
Your final act on this timeline is one of screaming defiance. Some might go gently into that good night. Others may rage against it, but not you. If you die here, at this place, at this time, then you shall claim that death as your own. In recognition of your glory, your car sprouts another higher gear that you gladly shift up into. You grip the steering wheel with one hand, boldly flip off the other car with the other, and slam on the gas, accelerating yourself into the infinite. You awake. No, not awake. That's not quite right. You just are somewhere else, somewhere liminal, but more real than the real of just moments before. You are conscious. You have your senses. There is applause. You see so many people celebrating your arrival. King Leonidas and Nestor Makhno boisterously cheers to your arrival. Saito Masashibo Benkei and the burning monk Dukwang Duk bow deeply, and hordes of protesters and Major TJ Kong on his atom bomb whoop and holler with glee and solidarity. Thor, Ares, Shiva, and Adraste, looming over all, seem thoroughly satisfied with your closing exploit. Finally, one entity approaches. The bloodier of Rome's ample nose and queen of the Iceni, Boudica, speaks to you. Welcome, they say. Your activities in life have caught our attention, and it is with great honor that I greet and lead you into what comes after. But first, there is a question you must answer. That is, how weigh the scales of your life? Do you feel you are bound for paradise, purgatory, or perdition? Do you say A? Everyone who ever went on about paradise and eternal reward in life seemed pretty fucked to me, so, hell, just send me to hell already. Do you say B? Well, I've not led a pious life in the least, or even a particularly legal one at times, but I've never hurt anyone and genuinely tried to help where I could. What better test for admittance could there be? One heaven, please. Or do you say C? I'll be honest, I would expect a little more diversity on my arrival to the afterlife. Now, fictional characters aside, I get that all here are mythological and historical representations of some ideal exemplified by my response to my imminent death. So the question then is who is to blame for the lack of diversity I see around me now? Is it the fault of the writers of history and with their white and patricentric sensibilities, picking and choosing a version of history that best suits their own egos and narratives? Or is it the fault of Taz, not putting in enough effort to root out the hidden histories of which are of our timeline in order to present an anthropologically well-rounded antechamber of the anti-life, which, considering it's been damn months since the last Chuck Tingle book club, would be quite the damn indictment indeed.
Secret answer D. I rock up next to the Thunder God, give him a nudge and say, "You pick, mate. I'm a little Thor after that car crash." No. Okay, C. Always blame Taz.
An air of disappointment and light contempt envelops your psychopomp as they listen to your response. When you finish speaking, they let your statement hang in the air for a moment. It's now that you realise that the assembly of historical figures, fictional characters, gods, and miscellaneous souls have all fallen silent. Some of them are even shuffling their feet uncomfortably. Says your psychopomp. Well, we had hoped for big things from you, but it sounds like someone could use a lesson in humility. Off to purgatory you go.
Yay!
Existence resolves into a vast grey nothingness around you. Even your own form and thoughts seem somehow grey and misty. The only clearly definable phenomena is that of a large board that reads, "Hello, Tom. You are number 0x184FF56798. Please take your ticket below. While you wait for someone to be assigned to your case, please select a task." Below the sign are 2 doors, each with a small collection of items next to them. Do you A. Choose the first door, which offers a bucket, a scoop, some plastic gloves, and a note that reads, "Anomalous figures from Prometheus. Please take this equipment and audit the eagle's excrement to ensure enough livers have been eaten." Do you B. Choose the second door, which offers a mound of contemporary and historical dictionaries and instructions to transcribe the afterlife arrivals and departure logs into modern Mandarin? Or C. Fuck all that noise, turn around and go wandering in the grey, formless wastes.
Oh, livers or wastes? It's always been the question, isn't it? Fuck that noise, eternal wastes.
Good. You set about your walk. Uncountable ages passed, but that's all there is to say about it, really. The whole thing simply slides past like the classroom lessons of your childhood. It's all so unremarkable, in fact, that you barely miss a beat when you suddenly find yourself in some sort of office space. Sat across a desk from you is a suited clerk with a faint halo that glows the colour of dishwater. "Ah, Tom. Sorry for the wait," they say, looking up from the screen of their yellowed IBM. "My name's Saint Blykel, no relation, and I've been assigned to your purgatorial casework." Now, don't worry, the news is broadly good. We're just having a categorization issue that we need to clear up before we send you to an afterlife that best suits your identity. The problem, you see, is that it says here that you consider yourself bisexual, and yet you've never had a full emotional and sexual relationship with a member of your own sex. Is this true? Do you A. Explain that sexuality doesn't work as a function of action, but rather of attraction, whether that attraction is interpersonally acted upon or not? Do you B. Say, "Nah, perhaps not, but I have watched an awful lot of men gobbing each other off. There was this one time with some dude in a Millwall kit pouring Foster's over his knob. That was particularly special." Or do you
I can't believe you remember that.
or do you see, shuffle coquettishly in your chair, blush wildly and say, "Oh, St. Blykel, are you asking me out on a date?"
You know I'm picking the fucking Millwall Foster's blowjob. Do you remember that?
I don't know. My memory's so terrible most of the time. Looking at you blankly, St. Blykel takes a note on his aging computer. "I see. Well," he says, "based on everything I have available to me, I'm afraid you don't meet the requirements for the LGBTQ heaven afterlife experience. Please don't look at me like that. I don't make the rules. I just enforce them with unbending bureaucratic zealousness. Now, we didn't detect anything to suggest you were a bad actor or anything, and so we will be putting you in the heaven for white middle-class social issues allies. Enjoy your afterlife." And just like that, you find yourself in another new space. This one is a vast magnolia expanse, dotted with tasteful, if somewhat dull, landscape canvases, glass chandeliers, and mantles laden with conversation starter curios. The people are all gathered around buffet tables and carefully curated bookcases, complimenting the Whole Foods vol au vents and congratulating on each other on having read Carl Jung. As you take it all in, this existence to which you have been assigned, as you take it all in, this existence to which you have been assigned, you deflate somewhat. It could be worse. It could be a lot worse. But this isn't right. This isn't where you fit. It's all so sterile, so smug, so filled with bottles of Carver that have been out of the fridge slightly too long. No, it's not the worst, but it also isn't you. And so, because of esoteric criteria decided and enforced by others, you are not going to get to be you. Your afterlife, to a lesser or greater extent, is kind of gonna suck. Not pounded in the butt by my book, not pounded in the butt by anything, and that's okay, and that's okay. It's a story about an author who begins an asexual relationship with his book about the beginning of an asexual relationship. This, you'll no doubt have noted, seems to have nothing to do with my best bud Tom here dying in a road traffic incident and then being forced to live in the wrong afterlife.
That's just Taz's fantasy.
Except that they both explore one of Chuck Tingle's foundational beliefs. How's that exactly? Well, we're just going to have to do the science, but we're going to do the science in plain
Magic.
clothes today. Because because, yeah, it's been a while since we've done this, and all of my props are scattered to the wind, so I'll have to find them. But yes, Tom, what are your thoughts so far?
Well, first of all, bravo. Second, I honestly cannot. I forgot about the fucking Millwall Foster's blowjob until you mentioned it, so that's impressive.
Man, sometimes the most useless stuff just sticks with me, and it could be brought out at choice opportunities.
I mean, this is how bad my memory is. I forgot that you were going to do a fucking choose your own adventure. Oh, go on. Hit me with it.
Okay. Cool. Finally, the title. Not pounded in the butt by my book, not pounded in the butt by anything, and that's okay, and that's okay. An analysis.
Ooh,
Part
cheeky.
1. Representation and manifestation.
Part 1, and we're starting the third time I'm looping Bach.
Oh man, you probably shouldn't have been playing that bit then. Never mind. Maybe we'll add a certain grandiosity to it. Anyway, here we go. Part 1, representation and manifestation. It is no secret that positive representation in media is important. Just being able to experience people and characters we identify with, succeed and experience joy can help support our self-worth and improve our confidence. It can almost feel silly to admit, but even a single fictional touchstone can provide us with strength in the direst of times. Just having that one point of reference to be able to say, if they can do it, so can I, can make all the difference. It can be the single chord that bridges despair and courage. To be clear, I say all this from the assumption that the person consuming the media already has a solid grasp on their identity. For those who do not, representation can be even more vital. For someone lost in the morass and malaise of identity confusion, seeing some external realization of their own identity can be a flashbulb moment. It may be the first time they can see themselves in another and say, it's not just me, or I'm not broken, or perhaps even, maybe I don't need to be ashamed of what I'm feeling. Moments like that can save lives. In Not Pounded in the Butt by my book, Not Pounded in the Butt by anything, and that's okay, we get the very definite sense that Chuck is fully aware of the power of positive representation. In the story, Chuck's stand-in, Luck Dingle, has just written and released Not Pounded in the Butt by anything, and that's okay, only to encounter the sentient manifestation of that very book as they both head to Hawaii for a much-needed holiday. Now, as we already know, the sentient manifestation of this asexual dingler is themselves asexual. So we are left with a situation where Chuck's own barely disguised self-insert has written an asexual story, and it has in turn manifested a whole new asexual entity. It's about as clear-cut an allegory as you could hope to write. Chuck is telling us that he's aware that not pounded in the butt by anything, and that's okay, may reach someone having difficulty with their asexual identity, and may help them come to terms with it. And he wants to talk about this with very good reason. Any thoughts as yet, or are you happy to plough on?
No, plough on, but I just think, yeah, he clearly is trying to reach that person who is struggling with their own self-identity, but I think it could be used as an asexual, but it's almost, it could span to any kind of self-identity and identity issue that someone has. It's not just about sexuality or whatever, but...
And I will make an argument that that's actually represented in the text.
Cool.
We see this kind of pop up in two slightly different ways, and I found that quite interesting. Anyway, we'll crack on with part 2. Representation is not dictation. The central tension of Not Pounded in the Butt by my book, Not Pounded in the Butt by Anything, and That's Okay, comes from the titular bibliographic manifestation's insistence in maintaining distance from their author, just in case spending time together leads to sex. We see this setup explored and resolved in 3 simple situations. In the first meeting on the plane to Hawaii, the pair meet, exchange pleasantries, the incarnated book explains that he's ace, and then curtly tunes out Luck Dingle, who politely accepts the situation as it is. A couple of days later, Dingle is relaxing on the beach when he notices Not Pounded in the Butt by Anything and That's Okay moping around on a surfboard. After a somewhat more awkward exchange of pleasantries, Dingle suggests that maybe the two of them go surfing together sometime. This leads to this exchange. Surfing lessons. Oh, technical difficulties. There we are. There we go. Surfing lessons could turn romantic pretty quick, and I'm asexual, remember? I don't think that's how it works, I call back. But I respect your decision. God, so out of practice.
Yeah. That reverb slider.
Yep. I'll try and sort it out next time. Anyway, our resolution to these first 2 parts comes at the restaurant sometime later. The anthropomorphic folio finally relents and asks to join Luck Dingle at his table, and the two begin to talk. The book apologizes for his distance, and we learn that I felt like I couldn't be asexual and have connections to other people. In short, the process of figuring himself out, in the process of figuring himself out, he was having trouble delineating between asexuality and aromanticism. The former being something that he is, and the latter something he's not. Or, as he puts it, I can be romantic without wanting to have sex. Which, yeah, absolutely fair enough.
Of course.
Luck's response to his book's initial apology is important to cover, because it provides much of the underpinning of the part of Chuck's philosophy we're going to be covering today. So, here it is in full. Learning who you are can take time. Sometimes it's instant, and you understand who you are from the very beginning. But sometimes it can take days, weeks, years, or an entire lifetime. And that's fine. There are no rules about how you get to learn yourself. All you need to know is this: it's okay to be you. Rather wonderfully, for a philosophical statement, this is so plain and clear that I don't feel it needs any further explanation, which leaves me free to carry on. Unless, I don't know, Tom, do you think...
No, I mean, this is literally what we talked about last break.
yeah, exactly. So Chuck follows this statement up with a couple of addenda. The first comes when the book tries to thank Luck for helping him figure out who he is, and Luck responds with, No. You figured this all out by yourself. Even though I created you, I'm in no position to tell you who you are. Only you can do that. So, if we're to take our earlier idea that Luck's creation of this manifested book is an allegory for Chuck's previous asexual tingler reaching someone struggling with their asexual identity, this statement becomes one of support to the asexual reader. It's a way of saying that though the reader may have seen something of themselves in the characters of that book, or indeed this one, all Chuck has done is provide examples of asexual representation. But there might be parts of those representations that you identify with to a greater or lesser extent. The real work of recognizing, accepting, organizing, and manifesting that part of your identity, then, is the work of you. As Chuck, speaking as Luck, has already stated, learning who you are can take time. It can be a difficult thing to grapple with. So the fact that you are, dear Buckaroo, is pretty fucking awesome of you.
Yeah.
At least that's the feel I get from this statement. And it's a concept that's quickly backed up after Luck reveals that he too is asexual. From this, we get the following back and forth. Why didn't you tell me sooner? Not pounded in the butt by anything and that's okay questions. When I was acting like that earlier, you could have just told me how to be. I'm just a writer, I explain. It's not my job to tell you who to be. There's only one person in the world who knows exactly who you are, and that's you. As well as supporting the earlier assertion that one's identity is the work of oneself alone, ultimately oneself alone, in shifting his role in the process from the specificity of, even though I created you, to the generality of, I'm just a writer, allows Chuck to stop addressing this sentiment to his ace audience in particular and open it up to his reader base as a whole. The good doctor wants us all to know that we may find representation in his work, but that's all it is. It's just representation. It's not a blueprint for who we should be. We can find joy and strength in it, sure. Some of us may even use such representation as a stepping stone to better realizing our own identity. But how we get to who we are is unique to each and every one of us. And because of that, the labels we claim for ourselves are only useful in the most general sense. The asexual peeps who read these books all came to their asexuality in their own way, and thus they cannot all be the same kind of asexual. Similarly, Tom and I are both bisexual men, but we are very much not the same sort of bisexual man. And here we find ourselves getting to the crux of it all. Cool. Any thoughts before we plow on into the conclusion?
You know what? You kind of touched on something that I felt reading through this book, where, yes, we're humans. We like to pigeonhole and categorize things. We're this sort, we're that sort. But everything's a fucking spectrum in reality. You're your own sort. No one is identical to you, because you have many influences that might be affecting a particular aspect of your self-identification that no one else has. A unique fingerprint almost of how your emotions work and how your attractions work, and yeah. I can't believe I got that from this book, because spoilers, not a great book. But yeah. Crack on.
Cool. All right, here's the conclusion. So before I got into this essay proper, I mentioned that my little choose your own adventure and not pounded in the butt by my book, not pounded in the butt by anything, and that's okay, and that's okay, both explore one of Chuck Tingle's foundational beliefs. It's something he talks about online fairly regularly and can be summed up from his latest foray into the topic, which is coming from a post on the 1st of July of this year, in which Chuck discusses a Vox article about the savage reaction to a sci-fi short story called I Sexually Identify as an Attack Helicopter by Isabel Fall, an as yet not out trans woman. I have been talking on this a lot, and seeing history repeat itself is warning to those with a well-meaning trot. Do not gatekeep those in need of a home. The harm of a possible scoundrel slipping through the gate does not even come close to the harm you will cause by denying those in need of a home entry. And when you do that, you have become the villain in your own story. In Not Pounded in the Butt by my book, Not Pounded in the Butt by Anything, and that's okay, we are told a number of times that everyone's expression of their identities will be different, and that no writer, nor any example of representation has any place in dictating what that expression should be. Furthermore, from Tingle, we see a shining example of acceptance and of giving space to those who are still figuring themselves out, and then supporting them once they come to a place of comfort and understanding with their identity. It is a masterclass in how to avoid gatekeeping behaviors, and it all starts by not providing a gate in the first place and just waiting there with your arms open. As a result of this approach, both Tingle and his manifested book got to start a relationship together and live as they should live. Conversely, Tom's little choose your own adventure to the wrong heaven is all about the potential harm of gatekeeping. Hell, it wasn't even a choose your own adventure. I only dressed it up that way to infer the idea that Tom had any sort of agency in his journey to heaven. He didn't.
Don't reveal the magician's trick. Why did you do?
He didn't. Because when you gatekeep, you are actively hampering someone's agency and restricting access to a community and maybe even their true selves. Their options become narrower as a result of what you do. Similarly, the choose your own options were intentionally restricted and inevitably led to a situation where I used my own expression of bisexuality as the benchmark by which to damn Tom to the wrong heaven. I actively withheld from Tom a recognition of a part of our identities that we both share, and in doing so, I condemned him to an eternity of magnolia, dull bookcases, and bottles of not quite cold enough kava. I kept him, within the context of the story, from living as he should. And that sucks. And, that's it.
Okay.
No, it's not. There we are. Sorry, I skipped a page. So, don't put up gates, Bucks. Let people figure themselves out. And once they do, welcome them in so that we can all live together as we should live. Proving love is real. Together. Postscript. I started writing this book report a while ago and was going to use a different quote from Chuck on the topic of gatekeeping, but time marched on and Chuck's discussion of this Vox article about Isabel Fall came up, and it definitely bore mentioning. The silliness and the stakes and glibness of their results in sending Tom to the heaven for white middle-class allies is what it is, but the stakes of actual gatekeeping are very flipping real. Go read the Vox article for an example of the catastrophic damage this sort of behaviour can cause. You'll find the link in the flippity gibbet down there. Postscript. I didn't really discuss the laying in bed and mountain climbing scenes of the story as an expression of romantic non-sexual companionship between two people. This is partly because with the end of lockdown and the return to work and a number of time-intensive ongoings in my own personal life, I haven't done the legwork to research asexual relationships as spoken about by asexual people themselves. Read, I am a base and loathsome charlatan. But also, the meta-dissolution of the narrative just before the mountain climb scene seems to sum it up pretty fucking well as far as I can tell. To wit, normally, Chuck's books end in a very visceral and passionate way. But I think the point of this story is that two people who care about each other can be just as visceral and passionate together with or without sex. You probably don't need me to deconstruct and explain that one to you. And if you do, then I probably wouldn't be the one to help you anyway. Sorry. Once again, base and loathsome charlatan. Postscript. What? You thought I was going to leave you in that smug magnolia purgatory, buddy? Fuck no. The way I see it, some bi person eventually pops down to visit one of their relatives in that heaven because they know the sort of social clout this confers in the white middle class social issues allies heaven. While they're there, they spot you. And I imagine by this point you've taken over one of the mantles, ripped out a couple of chandeliers out the ceiling, turned them into edgy but tasteful wall sconces. You've torn down some curtains and managed to stitch them together and fill them full of specifically saffron blinis, creating a fragrant badass king-size beanbag of sorts. And you've used some of the curios to fashion your own giant gargoyle-like Baphomet to sit upon your mantle. The bi person instantly recognizes you as one of their own and extends an official invite to queer heaven, or, whatever.
Amazing. Is there going to be another postscript? Oh. Blimey. So every time you finish one of the postscripts, I faded out the music and then I had to bring it back in. Hang on.
That is an audio metaphor for how well this episode's going to go down.
I mean, it's kind of still going on, but there's going to be a massive crescendo in any second. So apparently that guy can't pick up a bottle bin.
Jesus. I should point out, I did, without really giving any details, I did sort of mention to Tom ahead of time, like, look, I'm going to do, you're okay sort of discussing like your sexuality and its expression, and are you all right if I do something a little bit shitty with it? And Tom, he gave consent for that, so that I haven't just fucking blindsided him.
Oh yeah, no, totally. That's absolutely fair. Oh, that was why I worked out it was going to be a choose your own adventure, didn't I?
Yeah.
That's fair. All right then. I think the person's returning from doing the bottle bin. It was me, fucker.
Oh, you scoundrel, you metallic scally, you.
Metallic scally. How did you know my name in high school? I am Tingletron 4000 book review scoreboard. All scores are final.
I know.
That's a good impression. Right, anyway.
Thank you very much. Cool. Yeah. Love to see you. Been a while. See you again soon.
Fuck off.
Oh, wow. Maybe I don't like Tingletron as much as I did anymore.
Well,
It's just
I think the
pulling a heel turn.
the problems that you've caused have ruined the friendship, to be fair.
The problems that I've caused.
Yeah. I mean
With...
you've never been particularly nice to Tingletron, let's be honest. Anyway, let's be nice to her now by tapping in all these numbers.
I'm sorry, Tingletron.
Yeah, you better
Yes,
make it
let's
up
do it.
to her.
Let's tap in some numbers. Let's do it.
Right.
That's what she wants.
What she wants is another book review scored. So, not pounded in the butt. Okay, so this is where we do basically maths. We break it down into looking at the tingle, the cover art, getting to the tingle, the pacing, giving you the tingle, it's the sexiness, which you might have to play with a bit here, saving you some tingle recommendation value, and tingle tilt, the final reviewer's tilt, that will give us the 4 score out of 10. All previous scores are out of 5 to 3 decimal places.
Hope that's nice and clear for everyone.
You'll see how the magic works if you go to our website and look at the Chuck Tingle page, pottopicpodcast.com. Check out the Chuck Tingle page. The entire table of scores is right there. So, looking at the Tingle, the cover art. Hang on, I need to alt-tab back because I can't see it. Okay. I mean, it looks like he's on the same beach that I'm on.
Yeah. Not far off, eh? I mean, let's see. Luck looks hot. Not pounded in the butt by anything, and that's okay. Kind of reminds me of Will Ferrell a little bit, but
see, I was seeing
young. Maybe when he was attractive.
I was seeing Prince William with buck teeth.
No, okay. And yeah, where they are looks lovely, and obviously you've got the flash of oh god, I can't remember his name. Was it Skip, the raptor from
Yeah, I
the
think you're
first
right.
book, or Trip maybe
Something
and
like
you
that.
got a bit of his rocking abs going on, and
I would like.
I mean,
you know what? We're not. You know what's missing from the cover? Is what I've done right here. We got the mountain.
rainbow.
The mountain.
You got the mountain in.
The hiking mountain, which we're going to get to very soon.
Of course, yes, yeah. That's a good point. Do you know what? I'm going to give it solid 3.802.
3.802. Oh, I forgot to put that in brackets. 2 seconds. There we go. Yeah, not too impressed. I'm just going to go straight down the middle, to be fair. So it's going to be 2.659 out of 5. Decidedly average.
Okay, I think that's fair.
So that's a final score on looking at the tingle of 3.2305 out of 5.
That feels fair to me, yeah.
Getting to the tingle, the pacing.
Now, everything kind of fits and slots nicely. Nothing drags too much, but it does feel like a longer book than it is. So I don't really know what to make or say of that.
I guess because it's got like 3 very disparate parts, hasn't it? Because it's got all the like the character self-identification issue build up.
Yeah.
Then it's got the sort of acceptance arc, and then it's got the meta arc. Oh, sorry, and that's ignoring the fact that there's a like not sex scene.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which you kind of wrap it. It's kind of it is the middle, the bulk of the meta arc. Yeah, it's an odd one. Like I really appreciate like what he attempted with it. There's a lot that went into it. But it's it's not. It doesn't quite feel like one of those that kind of grabs your hand and then just pulls you right through. So I might lean more towards the sort of middling here. What did I do? 3.208.
Yeah, I mean, I think I might be a little bit more generous. Just because, yeah, he does seem to get a lot in. It's that first section. I understand. Actually, I guess the idea of him struggling with his self-identity, it should feel like a chore. Or should it feel like a chore? I don't know. So maybe 3.802 out of 5. That's 3.505 out of 5. Giving you Tingle the sexiness. Ooh. Now, this was the bit of the book that I thoroughly enjoyed. The bit where they're hiking up a mountain and it's sort of analogous to a sex scene in a Tingle book is just fucking yes.
Yeah, because this is what we really enjoyed about not pounding the butt by anything, and that's okay as well, isn't it? Is the fact that he manages to create that that classic Tingle closing scene, but keep it utterly asexual, which it does kind of a double duty of making the point that you can be passionate and visceral without sex. While also being very, very entertaining for established readers of Chuck Tingle, because we're seeing all the bits and pieces. We're seeing all the kind of running themes and like little gags that make it very entertaining.
Yeah.
Which is an impressive thing to do with a mountain climb.
Yeah, and bearing that in mind, I'm going to give it a 4. You?
Yeah. I don't know. I think because I'm a bit of a twat, I think the spelling out exactly what's about to happen ahead of time kind of takes away some of the punch for me.
Oh no, that was like foreplay to me. That was just like, it's coming. Oh, I'm gonna get the dopamine release. Here we go.
I think, I don't know. I think, like, obviously, I knew it was coming. Something like this was coming because we read the first one. But with the first one, it was such a fucking surprise.
Yeah,
it just slipped in there. And this time, it's well and good to make draw actual attention to sort of visceral and visceral passion without sex. But it did kind of deflate it for me and the way I sort of read things. So I'm going to go with 3.820.
No, it's not that bad. I mean, the O was a bit redundant, but okay. And that is then a pretty decent score of 3.91 out of 5.
Yeah, okay.
This is where this book might struggle. The Saving You Some Tingle, the recommendation value. I would not recommend this to a newcomer. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone who's read the first book, as in not pounded in the butt by anything, and that's okay. As a follow-up.
Beg your pardon. I think people who have read the first book are the only people I would recommend this book to.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Okay.
If I was speaking to someone who'd sort of recently come out as ace, or confided in me that they were ace, I would recommend not pounding the butt by anything, and that's okay. First, I would not this one.
I've just realised the not irony. What's the word? The oxymoron of the character Ace Rimmer in Red Dwarf. Sorry.
Probably wasn't accounted for. I think Ace is a relatively.
Of course not.
But yeah.
Of course not. But it just suddenly struck me. Yeah. Okay. I agree. Yeah. You made a good point there. It's only readable. It's only enjoyable as a read if you've already read the first book. So then you've got to buy 2 books to enjoy this one.
I think that's a little harsh. I mean, I think it's a perfectly enjoyable book. It's just unless I was talking to someone and they'd read the first one and were looking for the next thing to read, um, if I was going to recommend any book to anyone else, it wouldn't be this one. Like this is like not top of the recommendation list.
But bear
at
in
all.
mind, our highest scoring book is the first one.
Yeah, I know, it was wild, isn't it?
8.8 out of 10. So yeah, I'm going to give this a 2.01 out of 5.
Yeah, maybe I'm going to go 2.380.
Oh, I almost put in an extra digit then. That was not good. Right, so that's very low scoring, 2.195 out of 5. Reviewers Tingle Tilt. Again, I don't think we're going to get a massive amount of scorage here.
It's a better than average for sure. Yeah, it's a tricky one. I might just have to go.
Okay, maybe I do give it a little bit here because the previous point I highlighted during the analysis of reading it and noticing, like, just reflecting on my own self-identity as everyone having their own form of identity and their own spectrum of all these different things. The fact that it actually made me go, oh yeah, and actually nod towards that. Maybe it does deserve a little bit.
I mean, I think like I'm going to tilt it purely because I think it deserves a better score than where I suspect it's going right now.
At the moment, it's like low 5s.
And that's the whole point of the reviewers tilt, isn't it?
Yeah, to give it a little bit of a budget. So I'm going to give it a little bit. I'm going to give it a 2.5.
I'm going to have to go 3.820 again because for some reason I've just decided to use those 4 numbers for every score.
This is completely fair enough. So while it's not bottom of the pack, it is a average score for this book. It is a 6.4002 out of 10. Which in the grand scheme of things isn't as bad as I thought this one was going to score. But let's just do a quick custom sort and then try and find it. It is between just beaten by Living Corn, James Corn fired in the butt, and just above Space Raptor Butt Invasion, which, you know what, those are happy neighbours. I can see that.
Yeah, fair enough.
The maths works, people.
The math all pans out, baby. You absolutely can use objective methods on something utterly subjective as art. It's true. We've done it. We've proved it here. There's no question. The discussion's over. Everything we're doing is valid and important.
I mean, you've just criticised critics there.
Ow.
Every form of criticism. Right.
Hey,
anyway,
Tom. Yeah. Can you? You've got a readout, haven't you?
have you forgotten the readout?
I've forgotten the pot again. I'll be back in a sec.
Okay. Yes, so while Taz goes and gets the pot of book titles, I'm just going to quickly let you know that you can go to our website, pottopicpodcast.com. There you can find our podcast, which we do every couple of weeks. We've got one coming out fairly shortly after this goes up today. Today being the 22nd of July. We will have podcasts up probably within a few days. And yeah, you can email us at emails at pottopicpodcast.com to give us some feedback or do the thing in the comments. Share, like, subscribe, up your mum. Are you on mute? No, you aren't. Okay. No, you aren't. You aren't.
No,
I heard the
And yeah, so the final thing to do is to find out what Tingler will be reading next for the next show. And hopefully the next show won't be a couple of months away.
Nah. We'll be better about this.
Yeah, I should at least be able to do one a month.
Yeah.
Cool. So, if you want to, if you want to read along and read ahead, so you know exactly what's going on for the next Chuck Tingle book club,
Excitement.
then we will be reading "Pounded in the Butt" by the Sentient Physical Manifestation of Valentine's Day.
Okay.
So I feel like we're going to be getting into some classic Tingle territory with this one.
What do we think this is going to be about? Maybe the commercialization of love, or
Oh, cry! I don't know.
that could be it.
Who could
The cheapening
say?
of love by capitalism. Yeah, maybe. We will see. Oh, I'm excited now. I've just made myself excited. When I heard the title, I was like, oh, this isn't one of the absurd ones. I was really looking forward to an absurd one, but I think this might be interesting. Okay, cool.
I mean, it is still Tingle, so it will still be there'll be absurdity somewhere along the way.
Let's put it this way. Motherfuckers never scored lower than a 5.
Yeah, true that. Cool. So once again, the book that we'll be reading next time is "Pounded in the Butt" by the Sentient Physical Manifestation of Valentine's Day, and read ahead if you want. And until we see you for the next show, whatever your trots, whatever your way, go forth into the timelines and prove that love is real.
Love is real. Postscript.
Postscript, postscript.
Bye.